Hey there, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. I have had a number of people who have asked me about one of my really favorite parts of Iron County. I am going to take you on a tour of Parowan today. I am in one of my favorite places in Iron County. If you haven't been to Parowan, it's worth it to check it out. Parowan is a small town, a little bit north, about 15 miles north of Cedar City. It is referred to as the mother town of Southern Utah. And the reason it is referred to as the mother town of Southern Utah is it was actually the very first settlement in Southern Utah. It was incorporated as a town in 1851. Parowan is a small town. There's only about 3,300 residents here, and it really has that sort of old-fashioned small town charm. You can see on the main street, on the side streets, the big trees, the pioneer homes. It's just a quaint, beautiful little town. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So Parowan is actually the county seat in Iron County. I think a lot of people just assume that Cedar City is the center of Iron County, but Parowan is actually the county seat. So the courthouse is located in Parowan. The county offices are located in Parowan. So when the county commission meets, they meet in Parowan. Parowan has its own high school and its own elementary school. No middle school though. The high school serves as both the middle school and the high school. So Parowan, of course, is the gateway to Highway 143, which will take you directly to Brian Head. We've done a number of videos on Brian Head, and to get to Brian Head, you've got to come through Parowan. So stop here and check it out on your way to Brian Head. You will be glad that you did. Of course, going up Highway 143, you can go through Brian Head. It'll also take you to Cedar Breaks and Panguitch, or you can keep going across to Highway 14, which will take you through to Duck Creek and eventually to Highway 89. So really great access to a lot of the beautiful places in Southern Utah that people really come here for, and sort of what we're known for in the area. One of my favorite places to take visitors when they come to Southern Utah is a place called the Parowan Gap. So the Parowan Gap is a gap between two mountains. It's about 10 miles northwest of Parowan, and it's home to petroglyphs that are thought to be 1,000 years old. It's so cool, you guys. It's something that you really need to put on your list. Snakes, lizards, bear claws, mountain sheep, all over the rocks in the Parowan Gap. Now the Parowan Gap is also part of a bike trail where you can go over 50 miles, or you can shorten that down and go just a few miles, but it is really cool and really worth seeing. If you are hiking just east of the gap, you will discover hadrosaur's tracks, actual dinosaur tracks. It was a three-toed dinosaur. And then later, if you're into history, it was the site of part of the Old Spanish Trail. And the Old Spanish Trail came through this area as early as the 16th century. So just some fascinating, really cool history in this area, in and around Parowan. If you are going to come to Parowan and you are hungry, trust me, because I am going to tell you some of my favorite places to eat in Parowan. And anybody that knows me knows I know how to eat. So there's a brand new little restaurant. It's called the Primitive Waffle. Is that just the cutest name? Where all of their sandwiches are on waffles. They do breakfast, they do lunch, they've got fantastic coffee. So if you have time, check out the Primitive Waffle. You are going to love it. Another place that we come often is a little restaurant on Main Street. It's called Calvario's. They've got fabulous Mexican food. They've got American food too, but the Mexican food is really what they are known for, and it is great. And then of course, there's the Parowan Cafe, which is like every single cute little small town diner that you have ever seen. You can sit up to the counter, you can get breakfast, you can get lunch, you can get dinner. Such a great place to stop and meet people and mingle. 3 of my very favorites, so check those out. Now let's talk about some real estate, because that's why we're here, right? So I actually have a number of inquiries about Parowan. And I will tell you that just because of the population, it's just a small town. There's just not a ton of inventory on the market at any one given time. So maybe between 10 and 20 residential listings has been the average in the last couple of years. As in most places, the inventory is starting to go up, so that is helping things a lot. Another reason that we just don't see a ton of inventory come up on the market at any given time in Parowan is people tend to buy a home and stay here. We just don't see the turnover that you see in the rest of the state and the country. People who live in Parowan tend to stay in Parowan, and then the people who move into Parowan really like it, and so we just don't have the turnover that you see in a lot of other places. Now, the median price in Parowan tends to be slightly lower than it is in Cedar City. So wherever the median price is in Cedar City, and if you are curious about that, you should watch my shorts, because I tell you what the median price is every single week. So make sure you check those out on the YouTube channel as well. But in Parowan, the median price is going to be usually just a little bit below what the median price is in Cedar City. The cool thing about Parowan real estate is we still see pre-1900 homes come on the market. So you'll see homes often that were built in like 1890, 1895, and then often homes that were built just after the turn of the century, so 1905 or maybe into the 1920s. About 15% of the real estate in Parowan at any given time is going to be pre-1950. It's just so charming, and if you have an opportunity to go through some of these old pioneer homes, you will not be disappointed. They are absolutely spectacular, especially if they've been restored correctly. They're just spectacular. Such detail, it's really amazing. Thank you so much for joining me on this tour of Parowan. It really is one of my favorite towns in Iron County and in southern Utah. Such charm. It's just a fabulous place to come and visit. Make sure you check out all of the geographical highlights. You're gonna love it. I am Jennie Hendricks. We'll see you soon.